enthroned in palaces robed in gold. But Ethiopia offered a different vision. Its Bible was bigger, its Christ was darker, its theology was freer. To Rome, this was not simply strange, it was dangerous, because theology is never neutral. Theology creates culture, and culture creates power. A Christ who blesses emperors justifies empire. A Christ who looks like the poor empowers resistance. And this is why Ethiopia's theology had to be suppressed. It could not be allowed to spread. If Christians across the Mediterranean had looked to Ethiopia, they would have seen a faith not chained to politics, not married to empire. They would have seen a gospel that lifted slaves, dignified peasants, and proclaimed that the kingdom of God does not belong to rulers, but to the meek. Such a gospel would have shaken the very foundations of imperial Christianity. And so the strategy was silence. Ethiopia was pushed to the margins. Its books were labeled apocrypha. Its theology was ignored. Its art was dismissed as primitive. The Church of Empire declared itself orthodox and painted everything else as error. But behind this dismissal was fear. Fear that if people discovered the Black Christ of Ethiopia, they would realize that God does not belong to empires at all. History proves this. When European powers began colonizing Africa centuries later, they carried with them images of a white Christ. Missionaries taught enslaved Africans to bow before a God who looked like their masters. But what happened when those same Africans encountered Ethiopia's vision? They saw a black Jesus. They saw an independent church that had never been conquered. They saw a theology that declared, "You are not cursed, you are chosen." And that revelation sparked resistance. This is why the church feared black theology, not because of skin color alone, but because of the power it carried. It told oppressed people they were not forgotten. It told them their suffering was seen by heaven. It told them Christ was with them, not with their oppressors. And when oppressed people believe that they cannot be enslaved in spirit even if their bodies are in chains, Rome understood this long before Europe's colonial age. It knew that a gospel of liberation would destabilize its authority. So it trimmed the canon, repainted Christ, silenced Ethiopia, and replaced theology of resistance with theology of obedience. The empire gave the world a safer Jesus, one who blessed rulers instead of overturning them. But Ethiopia kept the dangerous Jesus, the disruptive Jesus, the Jesus who looks like those the world despises. The suppression of Ethiopia's theology was never just about race. It was about control. It was about power. A black Christ empowers the powerless. An Ethiopian Bible exposes the incompleteness of Rome's. An independent theology proves that empire is not the guardian of truth. For rulers who built their legitimacy on controlling faith, this was unacceptable. But Ethiopia endured. For centuries, it stood as a silent witness, whispering through its scriptures, its crosses, its icons. There is another way. And even today, its theology challenges us. It asks,